Many people think that figs shouldn't be pruned because they grow on their own in the wild. But if you want fruits like these, instead of small and dry ones, you have to do what I'm going to show you today. It is now the end of winter, the ideal time for pruning. Today we are tidying up this 9-year-old fig tree. I will also show you why the trunk is braided like a plate. The tools are ready and disinfected. This is crucial, so we don't spread diseases. We'll go branch by branch. I'll show you exactly what we are discarding and what we are leaving for a record harvest. First of all, you should cut off all the branches growing downwards. They can only get in the way, so it's better to remove them. Not enough light reaches them once the plant leaves out, so they just drain nutrients. The branches are not topped, they are cut back to the base. I also cut these larger, lower branches that grow horizontally, or even those growing at an angle of less than 45 degrees. The thing is, under the weight of the fruit, they will bend even more. Fig branches are brittle and can snap. By pruning, we will prevent such a scenario. Besides, they can get in the way when walking around the tree, for example, when mowing. That's why I always remove them. You have to be brave with the shears and the saw. When it comes to removing branches, there is no room for hesitation. Next, I am removing all the branches growing toward the center of the canopy. Look at these twigs. When the fig leaves out, they won't get enough light. Any branches that remain in the shade will produce small fruits, if any. By removing them, we will get significantly larger fruits on the remaining branches. Additionally, the inside of the canopy must not be too dense. Ventilation is essential. I remove all these branches directed toward the center. The middle of the canopy must be open enough for a bird to fly through without touching it with its wings. If you see dry branches or dried fruits left over from last season, they should be removed. These can be sources of infection and disease, even though figs are known as extremely disease-resistant plants. There are more branches to remove. For example, here we have a situation where one branch is competing with another. That's why I choose one of these two to remove and cut it with a handsaw. Branches can also touch or overlap, and in that case, one of them needs to be cut. As for the tips, it often happens that there are too many small twigs at the ends of larger branches. Young branches will be productive, but again, you shouldn't leave them all. I choose to remove the twigs growing downwards or inwards and leave those heading outwards. Also, remove the suckers growing from the base of the trunk. They only sap energy. Do you prune your fig trees? Do you prefer the bush or the tree form for your figs? Share the video with friends who are interested in this topic or own a fig tree. By pruning the fig, we make the fruits larger. An optimum is achieved in terms of yield, quality, and quantity. A fig should be pruned so that all its branches receive enough light and the canopy has optimal ventilation. But it's not just about that. Let's not forget that a fig is also an ornament in the garden, with its exotic leaves and fruits. The canopy should have a proper shape so that the tree looks decorative. I think I've achieved exactly that with my tree, and I can't wait for it to leaf out. Figs can be grown in two ways, as a tree or as a bush. The way you prune a young fig in its early years determines the form you give it. My fig grows as a small tree. That suits me better. What's interesting is that the trunk is a braid. While the plant was young, we formed a braid from 3 shoots. It might be unusual and interesting as a decoration, but there's another story behind it. The fig is a Mediterranean plant, which means it loves heat. I live in a continental climate, far from the sea. Figs can thrive well in these conditions, but they only tolerate temperatures down to -15 degrees Celsius. People here used to believe that if a tree is braided like this, one stem would warm the other, and they wouldn't freeze. However, one year, when it was below -20 degrees Celsius, a large part of my fig tree froze. Nevertheless, the tradition of growing braided figs has remained. Today, we use other methods to protect figs from the cold. And finally, one important piece of advice for everyone who wants to plant a fig in their yard. The fig has a very invasive root system. It seeks moisture and spreads quickly, both deep and wide. It penetrates the soil in search of water and can cause damage to house foundations and installations. It should be planted at least 5 meters away from the foundation of the house.